Yep. So good morning, everyone. The weather outside is kind of as crazy as my hair. It's super windy. That's why we're in the garage today. But the project we have at hand is we're going to replace the wire rope, the fair lead on my SuperWinch here. And I'll tell you, when we get down to it, I'll tell you why I probably wouldn't recommend SuperWinch again. And it's not really the winch itself. The winch has been great, minus the few things that have broke on it, when really I'm not that hard on it. And again, some of those things might be my fault that they broke, which I'm willing to accept. But it's the company's support and how they handled my issue when I contacted them. And we'll get more into that in a minute here. First, let's take a look if the parts I have are actually going to fit. They're off of a Warren. So we'll see if that works. Let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Obviously, we're looking at a steel Haas leader for a wire rope. And we're looking at a lightly used Warren cable. Why are we looking at this? Well, let's go to the winch and I'll show you. Alright. So, what issues have I encountered? Well, for one, this plug straight up broke off. The wires are still connected, but the attachment point's broken. So that's dangling like that, which is not good. Two, this roller right here, it broke. Now, the roller could be my fault, and I understand all these parts that have broken, minus this. I didn't really do anything for this to break like this. But the parts that I'm mentioning, I do accept responsibility that they could have broken because of something that I did. I understand that. My issue becomes is that the company did not support what I needed, and I was fully ready to purchase it under the understanding that this is all my fault. So let me show you what's going on with the cable. I got to get it all out first. There's the first fray. Maybe you can see that. I don't know. There's a second fray that just caught my glove, actually. There's my pinch. Look at that. That, to me, I'm not an expert, but that doesn't look safe to me. That's a very pinched cable. And there's more than one like that. And I think, not entirely sure, but I mean, I know you can get it from the cable wrapping over itself, but really, I think it's more of an issue from the cable being cheap. And the other thing that annoys me about this winch is the cable they use is an odd size. It's really hard to find. For me, I don't live somewhere where you can just go and have someone make a cable up for you. So the issue is that I'm having, I mean, here's the roller. This roller is bent. This whole thing is actually tweaked. And I think that's from pulling sideways. Again, my fault. I understand. But where I have the issue with this is SuperWinch's response. So I called them. And when I call them, they say, see, this roller doesn't even really roll anymore. When I call them, they say, we can't sell you the parts. You have to go through a vendor. But what we will do is we can give you the part numbers. Good luck. That's basically what they did. They gave me the part number for this, the part number for this rope, and the part number for that. They said, here, good luck, go find it yourself. I said, okay, well that's, in my opinion, that's really, it's not very good business. I don't like that. I spent extra money for the SuperWinch name. Granted, this is not top-of-the-line winch, I understand that. But I spent extra money at this time, when I bought this, for the SuperWinch over something like a Smittybilt or a Badlands, for the specific purpose of support. In case I broke something, I could easily get parts. That obviously is not the case. So, I search around. I can't find the parts. The cable, you know, I think I found something that we can use. This I was having a hard time finding, this plug, but I ended up finding it. The fair lead, you know, there's a really funny thing about that. I was told by the company that I have to use their fair lead. Now, this should be a standard bolt pattern. That's what we're going to find out today. And I just don't know that it is. I don't know that it's not. I'm assuming it's standard bolt pattern, which is why we're going to try to use that steel Haas lead. But the fact that they tell me that, and the fact that their response was, yeah, you're probably not going to find it. Good luck. Maybe you can use something from something else. When I call back, when I talk to the vendor, I landed at Full Parts finally after speaking to a few of them, and Full Parts tells me, okay, look, we'll contact them because we're a pretty big dealer. We'll see if we can special order the parts for you, and then you know, when we get word, we'll contact you back and let you know what's going on. So I go through this whole thing, and I'm serious here for a moment. I go through this whole thing, and Full Parts calls me, and they say, you know what, we straight up can't get a hold of SuperWinch. We can't even get someone on the phone. And I thought, wow, that's really weird. SuperWinch is a pretty big company. So then I tried to call them an hour later, and sure enough, you can't get through with anyone on the phone. Not that it's busy, not that, I don't know, my phone is down or anything like that. They straight up removed the directory from the system, so you can't even get to anyone on the phone. So I decided to email them. And I'll put up the response on the video. I emailed them about 2 paragraphs worth of concerns and questions, because at this point I was irritated, you know. I spent good money on this product. I understand I'm not looking for them to warranty anything. I'm just looking to be able to purchase the parts for something that I paid for. And I sent this email, and I get a response pretty quick, within an hour or two. I was thinking next day, but I get a response an hour or two. That was pretty fast. And the response already put up says something like, oh, well, we're in the process of selling the company, so maybe we can get back to you on the 13th of March. Wow. That's all I got. I didn't get any other explanation. I didn't get any, well, you know, we can help you out. Here's where you can find the parts even. Like maybe give me an area to go to get the parts. None of that. Zero support as far as I'm concerned. I could have pulled the part numbers for these because they're all stamped. That's not hard at all. I managed to find the plug, so that's coming. I don't have it today, but as far as these parts go, I mean, the cable they use is a 21/64 by 94 feet. And I know 21/64 is thicker than 5/16. I'm assuming the weight rating is a little higher, but Warren uses 5/16 on their 9,500 pound winches. It's a 900,500 pound winch. It should fit. The other thing that's crazy is that the 94 feet, with 94 feet on this winch, the amount of cable comes up almost all the way to these tie bars. You can't put another wrap on here, which means if you only take 15 feet out and you get cable wrapping over here, you pull in maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet of cable before you're rubbing on these tie bars. And actually, I've rubbed them already. So that is very annoying. So I'm thinking the 5/16, it being a little smaller, will actually work better. But all those little things add up to just irritations. And I would have never made this video. Honestly, I probably would have just replaced the cable, but the fact that I can't get parts for it is terrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix all these parts. We're going to see if we can get that Haas lead on here, and we're going to see if we can get the new cable on. But first we're going to take this old cable off, and then we're going to see if the Haas lead will fit on here. So I kind of got to get the stuff off, so let's get to it. Okay, so here you go. It just goes through this hole and locks on. I actually kind of like that design better than the lug on the side of the drum, like some of the cheaper winches use, which is nice, but it's just a set screw, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to use the 5/16 cable, so we'll have to see that. We might have to cut the lug off on the end. Okay, so the next part is, let's remove this fair lead. Alright, let's see. There's that. Okay, yeah, see, it doesn't use a lug. So let's see if that Haas lead fits on there. Oh, heck yeah. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We are definitely using this Haas lead. But first, let's clean this thing up. I'm going to clean it up and give it a good painting so that's not so rusted yet. I know it'll still rust, but at least it'll be somewhat clean looking. Yeah. Perfect. Alright, well, that's one thing we can use. Alright, we got that good and tight. The paint isn't exactly hard. I'm using Tractor Supply implement paint. It actually takes a long time to cure, but in the essence of time, we need to get this on here, and then I can touch this up afterwards. It's going to get scratched off anyway as soon as the cable runs across it. But let's see if we can get the other cable to fit. If we can't get that used cable I got to fit, then what we're going to have to do is use the cable I ordered to fit, because that's a smaller cable. So let's see if this works. Okay, so there you have it. You can fit 100 feet of I think it's 5/16 line, because this is worn winch line from a 9,500 pound winch. That's all I know because I got it used. But you can fit 100 feet of it on there on a tiger shark. Now you do have to wrap it carefully. I don't have it wrapped the best. Could wrap it a little bit better, but there you go. It works. It does work. You can do it. Obviously this isn't the best, and I'm going to put something right here to protect this. And this isn't wound under tension of the Jeep. I will take it out now that I have it on there and wind it under full tension to get it really tight on the drum. But the other thing, I will put a spacer on this to butt that up against there so you can keep the line tight. The other thing that this does, though, is you have to be careful when winching. This means that because essentially there's actually instead of 4 windings on here, there's 5 plus 2. There's 5 on there. You're gonna have to wind out a lot of winch line to get the full power out of this thing. So that means snatch block or a much further distance. Now the plus is you can go much further than you could before. Your reach is farther. But what you're going to have to do in order to get power out of this thing is you're definitely going to have to probably use a snatch block, or you're going to be winding it out much further. And if it's real close, you're going to be definitely using a snatch block. And if it's really close, if it's really close and you're really stuck, you might be even using 2 snatch blocks to get power out of this much winch line off. So I might take it off and cut about 10 feet off of it, just to make it wind easier, and then I get more power out of the winch. And I have straps and stuff that I can extend. Right now, currently on the Jeep, I can extend out to 50 feet past what the winch line has. So I'm not too concerned about it, so I might just cut 10 feet off. And this, I'm probably going to go back and touch that up. But my main purpose for this was to see if we can get the winch line on here, if we can fit this piece on here so I can get use out of this winch without having to buy a new one. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what's going on with the channel, hit subscribe down below. I really appreciate everyone watching. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you later.